Hello everybody, welcome back to Case Studies with the Biz Doc. This week, 5 examples of just bad ideas, bad companies that didn't make it. People wanted to know about some companies that didn't make it and a little commentary on why. And that's what we're going to do this week, and I hope you enjoy it. I enjoyed looking it up because it just shows you that sometimes really charismatic people can get in the room with a beautiful PowerPoint with an investor and everybody walks out, hey, wow, this is a great idea. And then money leaves the building, money burns in flames, and later we look at it and go, oh my gosh, what were we doing? Reminds me of everybody who voted for Jimmy Carter. You're too young to remember. So we first go with Washboard. What was Washboard? Washboard was a service that says, isn't it terrible to go find quarters all the time? Isn't it horrible to go out and try to cobble them together and go look in your ashtray in your car and that little mug that sits on in your bathroom with all your change in it? Oh, what a bummer. I've got an idea. Send us $27 and we'll send you $20 of quarters. That's right. You could buy $20 of quarters for $27 that will get shipped to you. You know what? I could give $2 to my niece and a $20 bill and she will return with quarters. This was dumb. And by the way, they went out seeking funding. Absolutely nobody went after it, leading even the founder to say, you know, frankly, I don't see anyone who would invest in this. So thank goodness there weren't any drunk VCs around that day because there is a God. Nobody invested in Washboard. But it still is the fact that it actually made it to the room with somebody putting together a proposal to say, for $27, I'll buy $20 with a quarter. Ugh. How did you get in that room? Must be a charismatic guy. And that leaves us to Be Somebody. For those of you that watch Shark Tank, you may remember this. Be Somebody was actually on Shark Tank. And it was all about finding your passions, about getting together with other people and getting together with mentors who understood your passions that were so uniquely you. And then they would take you on this journey to go and work through that. Now, you know, most of us call this $50 an hour at the gym to have like a trainer. But this was, you're into archery, maybe you find some archer expert that could take you up into the hills and you could go hunt or do things. But really what it really came down to it, this guy, first of all, got barbecued on Shark Tank, absolutely roasted, but still was very passionate about trying to make it happen. And this is, somebody didn't look at the economics. So this is just stupid, right? This was economics. When you really step back and look at it and said, wait a minute, to get one-on-one coaching with this, to make a company work, first of all, you got to find enough people that have all this extra money to not just pay $50 maybe for, you know, training sessions at the gym, but to really pay some money to have, you know, an archery expert or some expert going with you to some places one-on-one. That's expensive. And how many people have got that kind of extra money to be somebody and follow their passions? And so it was DOA, dead on arrival. And that was just not well thought out. The economics just weren't there. And then we go to, this is actually my favorite on the board here, Digisense. A device sets up next to your computer, and as you go and surf the internet and look at things, the scent is created by the device. Seriously. $20 million went into it. And by the way, that $20 million, help me if I'm wrong, I think that was Hong Kong. Was that right? Was it Hong Kong? Hong Kong. So today, if we convert it and convert the Hong Kong dollars, it was $30 million to have a device that sits there. So warning, if this is hooked up to your computer, don't watch frat party puking fail videos. This thing would create the scent, I think. But it seemed ridiculous, and yet $30 million in today's money was actually put into a device that would hook to your computer and make aromas. Yeah, okay. Then we come to Shuttle. Now this one is an example of just deceptive. Really, really bad. This was advertised to be like an Uber for kids. Back before there really was an Uber actually, but it was going to be an Uber for kids. Your kids could be picked up safely from school and taken to their gymnastics class or to their soccer practice. Very practical. And they promised they'd be running background checks and everything would be good, so you parents can trust that only good, nice people that have been really checked out are driving your kids. That's all well and good. That's what the website said. In reality, they were not doing the background checks and they got busted and they got found out after 12 million went in. So the example of this is you come up with an idea, you actually get something behind it, do what you say you're going to do because the embarrassment and the reputation that comes later is horrible. And by the way, there's a happy ending here because this is actually a good idea. And here in Dallas, there's actually a company called Bubble. And they have these white Priuses that have a blue bubble on top, and they're driven by off-duty or semi-retired police officers who have big background checks and guns. And your kids are very, very safe getting driven around the Metroplex by a police officer. And they also actually offer some fees. So if you want the police officer to actually walk your child into the gymnastics lesson and double check that really it's Miss Abigail that, you know, picks up your child there and things, they'll do that for another couple bucks. So this really came to being, and I hope it works, in a thing here in Dallas called Bubble. But needless to say, deceiving your investors and doing it this way is not the way to do it. Which brings us now to another one, Blippi. And I love this. And I took notes on this because I thought it was really, this has got bad idea, fail, catastrophe, everything. This is a lasagna of disaster. Blippi. So this is what you do. Your credit card gets connected to your Twitter account. And when you're using your credit card and you're buying things, it's telling everybody on Twitter what you did. Now that maybe that's okay if, you know, bought 2 tickets to the new Spider-Man movie, or, you know, went to, you know, restaurant and had dinner and a couple beers. Okay, yay, I guess Tom's over here having dinner with someone. Oh, that's interesting, because all these charges would show up there. Probably not so good if you're heading to the drugstore at 12:30 at night to buy a few things that you need for the nighttime activities. It's probably not good for that, and it's probably not good for, you know, if you're buying things like gifts for someone, you know, because your girlfriend gets tweets from everybody else. Hey, it looks like you just bought flowers for your birthday. Wait, it's not my birthday. Whoops. So there's a variety of places that this might not work. What really didn't work was the security on the servers when it started tweeting credit card numbers, which became a complete embarrassment and a catastrophe. So suddenly you're grabbing suddenly the next thing that comes across is all these people, you know, 1995 LifeLock, 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 LifeLock. Everybody's running to get LifeLock subscriptions because Blippi was broadcasting their credit card numbers. So when you look at things, I think there's a great book that's out, and I'm going to hold it up in a minute, and it is on business model development. And not only is it important to have like a really good idea, but business model development is really one of the things that helps you refine your idea, because you sit there and go, how big is the market? Would somebody pay a $7 premium to trade off? In certain things for convenience, maybe they would. Not for quarters at the laundromat. Oh, and by the way, laundromats soon had credit card readers. Bip, bip, no big deal. And you step back to, is it really a good idea to project smells or a smelling device? How many people are going to want that? Is that fulfilling a need that's out there? This is a good idea, but do we really have enough money to do what we say we're going to do and run these background checks and filter it so people can really trust? What if something horrible happened to a child here? And when you go through the business model of the economics of it, you also come to realities of the practicality of it. You know, Blippi. You know, sitting back there, do people need to have their purchases broadcast? You know, Mint keeps track of all your credit card stuff so they can help you with your taxes. But broadcasting what you buy, somebody thought it was okay to give them $13 million. And that's the one that freaks me out the most. It's some VC, people somewhere, thought it was okay to give $13 million to a company that's going to broadcast private credit card transactions, thinking that somehow this adds to the social currency of your life. And I have one word for that. Damn! That's dumb. Horrible. How would anybody think that's practical? So when you step back at it, I think it all comes down to the business model. And I've got the book right here. Okay, perfect. Here. So this business model generation, written by Alex Osterwalder, this is a great book. If you have any chance to pick this up on Amazon and you think of yourself as an entrepreneur or life in entrepreneurship, can't even speak today. This book is great. This will take you through building the business model, what's the difference between a business model and a revenue model, and the things you need to know to help you think through things like this, so if you got to thinking something like this and you run it through like this, you're that much more prepared to be in front of people that are going to invest. And I highly, highly, highly recommend this book. And I think that there's not enough of them were sold, as evidenced here. Thank you for watching this week. This has been some Flameouts. Get a copy of the business model book. I don't know these guys. I don't have an interest in this, but I know it should be on your shelf. And next week, we're going to do Theranos, which is a story of a CEO run amok with a whole bunch of investor money. Until then, I'm Tom Ellsworth, and I hope I left you better than I found you. And please subscribe to Valuetainment. We'll see you next week.